I tell you a funny story. Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsai Heirloom. Behind me is this really old, about 80-year-old Japanese black pine. The lady started it when she was a little girl coming out of a concentration camp. And she got the seeds from Japan, her father. And so that's a tree. So I'm really very proud to own this as a memorial of our folly. It's a beautiful sunny day, cool. I want to show you the maple trees in front of my garage. You remember about a month ago, I collected seeds from the tree. I didn't remember what variety it is, but it has small leaves and nice, cute green leaves. And now it's turned red. And I will be propagating those seeds, and in a few years, I will have a bonsai made with that seedling that will likely turn red and have with small leaves. The second tree I want to show you is still not quite red yet. The maple tree is called Osakazuki, which is the tree you find in Kyoto gardens, known for its red color. We don't often get as red a color because we don't have the same weather condition, but I suspect in a week when we do it, next week or two, it will be quite red, and I'll show you the coloration. It's really probably the most beautiful red maple ever. The third tree I want to show you is actually Chinese pistachio tree. And you can see how deep red it is. I think it's not as bright, but deeper red than any other tree I've seen of the Chinese pistachia. And it's really, in some sense, memorable for me. My wife and I, when we were building the home, we were driving around the country, California, to look for material. And we found this whole bunch of seedlings. This guy was growing maybe several hundred of them in a lath house of these trees. And out of that, we pick about 5 what we consider the most beautiful red. Because the timing was the time, it was about this time of the year, it was turning red. But you see how beautiful it is? I think the point I want to make is that nothing in life happens easy. If you want it, you got to go get it so that you have it eventually. So be motivated to take action, and you're more likely to get what you want in the long run. So that's an example. Okay, moving on to the Q&A. So this week we have not as many questions, which I guess is good news and bad news. Good news is maybe the videos are so self-explanatory. The bad news is I want to encourage you to send me more Q&A so that I can have more meaningful stuff to share with the rest of the audience. The first one I want to spend a little bit of time on because this fellow, I presume young man, said that I buy nursery stock to make my bonsai, but by the time when I'm done, their stalks become sticks. There's nothing left, and I don't know how to do it. Well, so I'll tell you a little bit about my history. I started off by learning from bonsai masters, from Japanese-American bonsai masters, Harry Hirao and John Naka. And I learned the basics. Number 1 branch, number 2 branch, how to do wiring, this and that. And then I deviate from that. I expand from that. I grow from that. But I have the fundamentals packed. So my recommendation to this young man is to actually go to a bonsai class, a local nurseries or bonsai club, and learn the basics. And then I must have read thousands, or maybe that's exaggeration, hundreds of magazines and books in Japanese, in Chinese, and in English from anywhere that I can grab my hands on. I used to go to Japan a lot. Every time I bring a half a dozen books back to read it. They have little booklets with a lot of illustration that I can learn a lot by reading a few of the kanji. So anyway, learn the basics, extrapolate, do your own research and study, and put together your self-consistent opinion about how to grow bonsai, and you grow from that and share with the community like the Bonsai Heirloom community. So keeping bonsai, I think there's enough of a video I've done that if you go back and search for it, about bonsai culture, you learn quite a bit. And then as far as the shaping, what I always suggest is start with a reasonably big material, so you don't have to wait that long for a tree to look nice. And then you look for the line, so to speak, the design, the principal design, and you cut back and you build from that. So always decide on the vision of what you want the tree to be and then work towards that, but give yourself plenty of time. You probably wind up cutting into sticks because too anxious to shape. And that's what I did the first time. I tell you a funny story. I had a white cedar that's very large. I wanted to show it in the California Bonsai Society show for the first time. That was maybe 8 years after I started bonsai. And I was so anxious to make it look nice. I keep pruning it until there's nothing left almost, like I said, like a stick. And I took it to the bonsai show, and John Knocker says, I think you need this tree to grow a few years before you can show it. So I have nothing to show that year. So again, be patient and work towards your vision, and you eventually have it. Well, good luck to you. I think you have a great attitude to ask questions. So keep going. You will eventually get there. It took me 50 years to get to how much I know today. Okay, thank you. So the next question was like, how old is my boxwood that I use for demonstration? Well, the first boxwood, actually I had 2 of those that I bought in 5-gallon cans, which was already about this big around. And I've been working on it I let it grow in the ground for 20, 25 years. And that tree probably is about 20, 25 years. So it's a 40, 50 years old trees. And I turn it into a nice bonsai, and that's big. And so if you want to start with a tree with some size without wait 10 years for it to grow, it will never grow to that if you grow in a bonsai pot, because the growth is significantly slow with less roots and less foliage, is to start with the older tree. Now the 2 that I did this on a smaller bonsai that I dug out of a hedge, that hedge was about 25 years old when we built a house, and the trunk is about this size. So that's how long it takes the boxwood to grow. The next question is, do boxwood grow in wintertime? And the question is yes and no, because the leaves are still on, so I'm sure it grows some. But in the wintertime, the growth is really slow. In fact, boxwood goes into a little bit of dormancy, at least the Japonicum. Turns a little bit of a yellowish in the wintertime. There is one variety called winter green, I think. I got some from in the Boston area. And that tends to stay green much more longer, but still there was a month or 2 that it looks a little bit yellowish. Oh yeah, there's another question was about, okay, I live in Sweden. You say the repotting time is now, but we are already freezing temperatures. So, and I think there's another set of questions always, should I repot my plants now, like you suggested, or repotting in the springtime? So let me say this. I don't think I meant exactly by pruning now, but for me it is pruning now because the leaves are dropping in the late fall. And I cut back, if I repot it, I cut back some of the roots and cut back some of the branches. It should last. But if you live in a cold winter area, then I think it's a bit problematic if you repot them now, because after you prune it, you lost some of the roots and so forth, and then the winter freeze come, it potentially can damage some of the roots that you cut. And so you're taking a little bit of a risk by doing it now versus in the springtime when there will be a flush of new growth coming out. You have no risk of keeping the tree alive. And then this one says, I live in Saratoga, Florida, and the summer gets over 140 degrees in the full sun. The pot gets really hot and the trees gets burned. What do I do? Well, I think for sure water a lot, a couple, 3 times a day. Some people would build a last house. That means shade cloth over them, and maybe even fog them, water them several times a day. So you just have to use your judgment. Don't let the roots burn, and keep the trees green. I bet you if you water a lot, you have the benefit of rapid growth if you put a little fertilizer on it. So, you know, there's no pain, no gain. Every place, if you know what you're doing, you can take advantage of the weather condition. The next question is, if I grow a big tree outdoor when it's 6 foot high, can I still prune the tree on the same day? I mean, I don't see why not. When you want to cut back a tall tree, you cut back the roots. You have to cut back the branch further to make sure the amount of root loss is compatible with the amount of branch you will cut off to compensate. You can do that anytime. Again, I remember seeing 20, 30 feet trees in China with a root ball that's almost flat, no bigger than this, with fibrous roots. They do that any time of the year to forest a whole city. Have I grown Boswellia sakura Frankincense tree for bonsai? I'm sorry, I didn't. That's a little bit of mouthful and exotic for me. I've never seen that in California. I Google it. I think the information is very scarce. So, you know, this is a community. Please try the tree and tell us how you like it. Maybe someday we'll find that tree here as well, and to share, make good use of your experience. Again, I want to create Bonsai Heirloom, a community where we share useful information. I will collect a database so that we can make a very good use of an extensive database on bonsai culture and on plants. So with that in mind then, please like my video. I need the encouragement and the brownie points. Please visit our website to join our giveaway raffle of 10 bonsai. The 10 very first bonsai will ship from Bonsai Heirloom. As a thank you for our 100K subscription. And subscribe to our channel so that we can notify you of any new video. So thank you very much, and see you next week on Wednesday morning Q&A, every Wednesday. Thank you very much.